Hey, Beardo Blogging to you.
Hello!
So the next question in this little series of questions that I've got from people is what are things you think everyone should know about your personal experience with ADHD and dyspraxia that you feel differs from the stereotypes? So first of all, I can't remember if I've said on this channel or not. I might have done briefly, but I also have dyspraxia alongside autism and ADHD. It's it's in that family of neurodivergent conditions like dyslexia and dyscalculia and all sorts. Dyspraxia is more of it affects your motor functions. So it's things like hand-eye coordination, balance, just general coordination. That sort of thing, like throwing and kicking a ball, or holding a pen, and so some of your fine motor skills are affected, and so it's like gripping things and tying your shoelaces and doing things, working on small objects and things like that. So I'll put a definition. Well, I might put a quick definition here somewhere or in the description if I can't fit it in there. Probably won't. But yeah, I think in terms of my personal experience, I think people don't realise how hard neurodiverse people work in order to fit in or to be a certain way, and how much energy that takes, I guess physically and mentally, because it's a constant battle. We work to present ourselves a certain way, and then we work to suppress the negative behaviors or emotions or reactions, to make it look like we don't fit into the stereotypes that people have, because I think there is still stigmas about having ADHD and conditions like dyspraxia. But I'm going to say dyspraxia. I don't know how many people are aware of dyspraxia. I don't know how many people know about it. I think dyslexia is a lot more common, and now autism and ADHD are becoming a lot more common. Sometimes there are like overlaps in those sorts of conditions, whether it be dyslexia, dyspraxia, OCD, autism, ADHD, those sorts of things. So I don't know if they are sometimes sort of merged into another diagnosis, or not. I know fewer people who have heard of dyspraxia than anything else, so I don't really know why that is, but yeah, it's. I'm still learning about the ADHD stereotypes, because I was only diagnosed in December time last year. So it's hard to say how people treat me differently, knowing that I have this condition, and have probably had all my life. Not probably, I have had all my life. So for me, I haven't really had a negative effect other than everything was probably, because I was 13 when I was diagnosed as autistic, everything probably was just shoved under that umbrella of, link everything to autism. And really, I probably needed something that was more guided to helping the ADHD aspects of stuff. So I think neurotypical people don't realise that we want to be included in things as well. I think, they think of autistic people as, they want to be left alone and they don't want to socialise because they struggle with it, or they don't want to be in, they don't want to do certain things because of, certain sensory overstimulation or stuff like that. So I think, we kind of get left out a little bit because they think, oh, they probably don't want to be involved in anything, but we do. We want to be part of friendship groups, and we want, to be involved in the stuff that they do. But at the same time, we want friends that will, pick up on things, the subtle, not so subtle cues that we might be, ready to go, or ready to leave, or be on that borderline of, right, I've had enough now, kind of thing. All that, we're not just going to disappear and ghost you. We can take ourselves away from being, being in a situation where we know we might struggle. If we reach that point where we know we've had enough, we'll kind of like take ourselves away, basically, and just basically, we want people to know that, we want to do things, but certain things will take more of our energy to do than other things, if that makes sense. And that, we might appear fine one day, but then, doing something else the next day or the next week or another time would take more of our energy to do than it had done previously, and that our energy levels fluctuate and they kind of change, and we don't really have much control over. And that, even just having a break from what we do, just, maybe go somewhere quiet or somewhere we have a little bit more control over what's happening, that can help us recharge, then we can, rejoin what's going on. I suppose the big stereotype that I've come across is, for ADHD in particular, is that we're all go 100% all of the time.
I don't think you have any idea how fast I really am.
And we don't sit still, and, we're always fidgeting and, easily distractible and whatever. But, I think what we're learning is that ADHD is a bit more of a spectrum than we realised, and that people are, different on different days and different from one person to the next, depending on what type of ADHD you've got. So, like, for example, I've got inattentive ADHD, so I tend to struggle starting stuff, and like keep doing the thing that I'm doing. So, we go from one thing to another to keep that dopamine hit coming. So yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to say, really. Because there's so many. I mean, I'm still discovering all sorts of stereotypes about ADHD. So, stuff that I didn't even realise was a stereotype. that I'm sort of applying to myself and going, oh, okay. So I'm still very much learning about ADHD myself, really. But yeah, I think that kind of sums it up, I think. So yeah, on to the next one. See you later.